Hello and welcome to another edition of DUALpreneur Virtual Mastermind. My name is Tara Jackson, aka Madam Money, and I am your host and founder of DUALpreneur. Hey, do you have a full-time or part-time job, but you also have an entrepreneurial venture on the side? You know, you that side hustle superhero. Are you addicted to the direct deposit like me, whether it's coming from my job or from a client? Do you want to keep your benefits and build your business too? Boo, it's okay. You're an awesome dualpreneur, and we celebrate and honor you today. And we want to provide you with resources, information, and experts to help you stay in business. Hashtag keep dualpreneurs in business during the pandemic and the quarantine and after. So if you're watching during the pandemic and the quarantine, we're giving you the tools that you can use to be successful to launch or sustain your business or grow your business. And if you have survived the quarantine, congratulations. You can still use these expertise, these lessons, these strategies to grow your business afterwards. So one of the things we're going to talk about today is the business plan. Now, a business plan is the foundation of a successful business. A plan must have strategies, it must have plans, and you must write it. I think it's a back of two, is that what it is? Write it down, make it plain.
Yes.
I got the elder in here, you know, I'm not the Bible.
Don't forget the part that says so that those who read it can run with it.
Right. So, you know, I'm not a Bible scholar, nor do I play one on TV. So I had to go call somebody. Y'all know how I do, right? And so we have to write down our vision. We have to write down our mission. We have to write down our plans for our business, whether it's I just want to keep it a side hustle or I want it to be a multi-million-dollar business, whether I want to be a solopreneur or I want to be a business owner and have people work for us. We have to write that down. But that process can be very intimidating to a new entrepreneur. It could be very overwhelming to someone who's never done that before. And if we don't understand what the anatomy of the business plan is and really how to write it, if it's, you know, too complicated, we just not going to do it. Let's be real. At least I'm not going to do it. I will practice the art of avoidance like nobody's business, right? So even with my business plan, that wasn't something that I do for myself. I do it for my other clients, but sometimes you need someone, a coach needs a coach. So of course I had to call on my ace boon coon, Paul Q. Fortson, Paul Q, and so help me through this process. And one of the things that he's fabulous at making those complicated subjects very easy to understand. And one of those complicated subjects that a lot of new entrepreneurs, dualpreneurs, solopreneurs, we really don't get and understand the magnitude and the process is the business plan and how vital it is. Because if you want to get lending somewhere, they may ask for that information. Or if you want to pass it off, you know, you can't do the business or you don't want to do the business anymore, that actually produces the strategy to someone else. So I had to go into my electronic Rolodex. Y'all know how I do. And I had to dial up, you know, Paul Q. He's one of those that I didn't ask him if he would do it. I pretty much told him that he was going to do it. And he graciously said, yeah, okay, as he normally does. And I thank you, Paul, for taking the time out of your busy schedule, because you are, even with this pandemic, I think we're more busy than ever. But taking your time out to pour into the dualpreneur community and to share your expertise, where most people pay you thousands of dollars for consultation, you found it in your heart to share this information so our community can get it at no cost. So I appreciate you for sharing that, or even a minimal cost with what you're providing. The value is absolutely fabulous. So thank you.
You're welcome.
Awesome. So we're gonna get started with that. So Paul, tell us a little bit about you and your business, and then, you know, can you help us to understand the anatomy of a business plan and make it plain for us to really understand?
Absolutely. Thank you for having me this evening. I follow, of course, you as a dualpreneur myself, and have been following your monumental work for many years. Yeah, I do consider you a friend. And so being in your Rolodex is an honor to be able to just be a part of this great community of dualpreneurs that you have, entrepreneurs, period, that you have. And so thank you for having me. Good to see each one of you guys. After being distant, physically distant from people for a while, this platform definitely is giving us an outlet so that we can continue to be social and we can continue to engage and encourage each other. So for those of you who are out there listening and watching, even if you're watching the replay, please stay safe. The Lord bless you and the Lord continue to protect you and your families. And for those of you who may have felt the heaviness of this particular health crisis, we're praying for you definitely that God's grace would continue to comfort and cover you. I am Dr. Paul Q. Fortson, and business is something I can't be dishonest and say that it's something I've enjoyed all of my life. But when I discovered business as a young adult and the strategy of business, man, it lit a fire, it lit a passion in me. And I went to undergrad at Xavier University in New Orleans, XU for life. And then I actually got my MBA from the University of New Orleans. And ever since that time, I have just enjoyed the strategy, building, the administrative function, and all of the ins and outs that go into starting, building, and then growing and nurturing a business. It's an intentional sport. A lot of people have engaged in business and had great ideas, and you hear a lot of stories from time to time about people who unintentionally became successful at business. But what I've learned over these short 20 years that I've been doing this, am I aging myself? If you couldn't tell by the gray beard alone. But over these short years that I've been doing business, building businesses, helping others build businesses, is that business is an intentional sport. You don't trip and make a mistake and become successful. What I understand is that success is created. It's not mistakenly gained, and it's not luck. It is an intentional sport. So the business plan is the first step. Now, Tara has given you a little bit about the fact that, yes, I'm a minister. And so the Bible becomes the most used tool in my toolbox. But you said something earlier as you were opening up about writing the vision and making it plain. But as it relates, and it's absolutely true, it says that so that those who hear it can run with it. But there's another text that I thought about when you said that, and that's Luke, the 14th chapter, that says, count up the cost. I'll read it briefly. It says, which of you intending to build a tower does not first sit down and count up the cost, whether you have what it takes to finish it, lest after you have laid the foundation, you are not able to finish it, and all that you have begun and is not done, and people begin to mock you, saying, this man began to build and was not able to finish. A lot of us have great ideas. A lot of us have ideas even that we believe are divine, and God gave us this idea, gave us this plan, or gave us this vision. But many do not count up the cost. What is it going to take? What is required of me in order to make what has been downloaded into my spirit, or what has been downloaded into my intellect? What is it going to take in order to make that successful? So the anatomy of a business plan, I think, is absolutely apropos, especially once we come outside of this pandemic, once we get on the other side of the lake, as it were, of this time, that many of us hopefully will be able to take our business, our plans, our visions, after having taken this opportunity to write it down and run with it. and make sure that our businesses are successful. Here's the last story or last example I'll give you. Something that inspired me, and hopefully it will inspire you as you move forward. I believe that, this isn't the first time. If you look at history, this isn't the first time that we've had a pandemic. And this isn't the first time that we have had to quarantine. And I was reading an article, New York Times article, I believe, and it was saying that during one of the pandemics, I believe it was the Black Plague. Don't quote me on that, but I believe it was the Black Plague. And it said that Sir Isaac Newton was quarantined. But during that time of quarantine, he used it to come up with the theory of gravity and calculus. And I thought to myself, wow, while we're sheltered in place and supposed to be quarantined, what are we going to do with this additional time? Many of us said, yeah, I'm going to start my business, or I'm going to do many things once, if I get enough time to do it. Now that you've had the time, are we really using this time that God has given us? So as it relates to our business plan, the anatomy of a business plan, the first question you might ask yourself is, why do I even need a business plan? Well, we've all heard the old saying, if you fail to plan, then you plan to fail. So creating a business plan will force you to think through all of the necessary factors that will impact the success of your business. Creating a business plan will first require you to lay out the steps necessary for launching your new venture. The changes that will simply remember, the chances that you'll simply remember every necessary aspect needed and not leave out any detail is very slim. I still have a mentor, and he used to say to us, a sharp pencil is better than a sharp mind any day. So write it down. That's the reason business plan is important, is to write it down. Is everybody hearing me okay? Is everybody doing good? Everybody hearing me well? Good. I see the thumbs up. That's a good sign.
Hey.
Hey, I love it. I love it. So here's the deal. Many people have amazing ideas. People have great ideas, but an amazing idea is only amazing until you are able to explain why it is valuable to others. I like to tell those who I counsel, I like to tell those who I consult with, that an idea is just an idea that does not exist until it's on paper. Nothing exists until you write it down. And so while it may be in your head, while you may be thinking, oh, this is going to be great, like this is going to change the world, it does not exist until you write it down. And there is absolutely nothing inherently valuable about your idea, your product, or your service. It only becomes valuable when you can adequately explain how valuable it is to others. I'll say that again. There is nothing inherently valuable about your idea, your product, or your service until you can explain it to others as to why it is valuable to them. I'll give you an example. I had a good friend and a client who once was very frustrated because they had a great idea and a great product. They felt like it was a great product. And of course, everybody thinks that their children are the greatest children alive, right? Everybody thinks their children are the greatest. But I had to explain to them, yes, you love this idea because it's your baby. It's your idea. And actually it's their product. But you got to explain to the rest of us, how come we ought to want your product? How come we ought to want what you have to provide, and why is it valuable? And I believe the light bulb came on to her then. But understanding this is the first step in understanding why you need a business plan. It is because the business plan will give you the narrative for this and help you outline the value, help you outline how you will explain your service, your idea, or your product's value to the rest of the world. Business plan will also help to ensure that you've thought through many of the factors necessary for the success of your venture. You have an opportunity then to lay out, okay, I need A, B, C, and D. Um, It'll help you also to easily realize and easily identify the areas that you are deficient in, or areas that you may have missed. So we have to understand, when we're looking at this, is that we are not all going to be great at everything, and that we will need some advice in some areas. We'll need some help in some areas. And in my particular case, I'm not good at the creating and marketing, those kinds of things, like creating the marketing, but we know Tara is amazing at it, can create informationals and create eye-catching um, uh, informationals. So knowing and understanding where I'm deficient, then I have an opportunity to seek out the professionals, those who are absolutely great at doing what they do. And the third thing is that it helps you to easily articulate and communicate your ideas to potential investors, to suppliers, and to potential partners, even board of directors, corporate board of directors, um, concerning your idea, your product, or your service. Um, it's not practical, nor is it professional to walk into a meeting or a sales pitch empty-handed. And no matter how charismatic you are, it's not practical, neither is it professional to walk into a meeting of potential investors or potential suppliers or corporate board of directors, someone who will want to partner with you, and you come in empty-handed. Your charismatic demeanor is only going to get you so far. After that, we need a plan. So let me say that one more time. I know that I know that you had a pen and a pad. For those of you taking notes, a business plan will ensure that you've thought through many of the necessary factors for the success of your venture. With good advice and due diligence, it'll help you easily identify the areas that you may have been deficient in, or areas that you may have missed as it relates to the success of your project. And it helps you to easily articulate and communicate your ideas to potential investors, suppliers, potential partners, or board of directors, the plan that you have for the success of your business. When I talk about suppliers, or when I mention suppliers, I just want to stick a stick pin in here. Many of you have businesses or products that will require parts in order for you to assemble this product. If you're making candles, if you're making other kinds of, say hair care products or things of that nature, you need the necessary components of your product that make up your product. So you may need to pitch for credit in a supply chain situation, or if you're ordering, you may need to apply for credit. Well, a parts supplier may not want to give you credit if you don't have a plan for paying it back. And so that's why this is also important. If you're taking notes, business plans also help you create and manage budgets. Wow, we're going to talk about budgets in a little bit. They help you with filing taxes. They help you make sound financial decisions. Understanding your financial strength and your financial position, what you can and cannot afford to do. Maybe what things need to be part of your short-term plans, what need to be a part of your long-term acquisitions. And as well, business plans will be critical if you ever get audited. So none of us want to be audited. None of us ever want to be audited. But if you ever have to go down that road, a business plan is going to be absolutely critical to you if you ever get audited. What is a business plan? I think many of you, let me see your thumbs up if many of you have already started or already have one. What is a business plan? Good look, good, Brent, good. A business plan, and here's how I like to say it. A business plan is really a resume for your business. If you, many of you professionals, you would not approach a job interview without a resume, whether that resume was submitted online or whether you bring it with you when you arrive to the meeting, to the interview. If you have not prepared a resume beforehand, it is most likely when you get to that interview that you will not get the job. Here's the other piece to that. If you haven't prepared a resume, it's most likely you won't even get a meeting. And so when I talk about business being an intentional sport, a business plan is absolutely essential, because in many instances, you will not even get a meeting with a potential partner or even a potential investor without a resume. And so let's call this business plan a resume for your business. I also like to call it, and Tara, you and Brandon, you guys will enjoy this. I like to call the business plan your business Bible. Yeah, get that one, your business Bible. Your business plan should literally be your roadmap to business heaven. You should refer to your business plan in the operation of your business the way we refer to our Bibles during our spiritual walk. Your business plan is also a living document. And what does that mean? It means that business plan will live with you and live with that business throughout the lifetime of that business, even if that business lasts longer than us. That business plan will help those in posterity, those who will come behind us, and continue the vision and the goals of that business. And so the business plan is going to be your business Bible. And it is literally going to be your roadmap to business heaven. But also, when you get off track, it should be the guide to get you back on the straight and narrow. It should be the guide to get you back on the straight and narrow. And I'll give you an example of that, a personal example of that, where the names have been changed to protect the innocent. But one of the businesses that I started, I think a few years ago, was housed inside of a building. We had a building that we housed this business in. But this building happened to have a basketball court. And the thing about the basketball court was that people came, and when they would come inside the business, they see the basketball court. But the business was a 501c3 nonprofit. And its goal, the vision, the service that was provided according to the business plan was a community empowerment and a community development programs. We were there to help those ones in this community to become empowered in business. We did tutoring, we did business development, and a lot of other business empowerment programs. But because the building had a basketball floor, there were many teams, and you can imagine, that wanted to use it for practice and use it for games and things of that nature. And what I realized after a while was that I was no longer really in the community services industry. I was in the basketball management and basketball facility management industry. And so, okay, wow, I enjoyed that stream of income. It was a good additional stream of income. It was taking me and it was taking my organization, the entire organization, away from its original vision. And then ultimately its impact on the community. And so the things that we had set out to do in creating this community impact and this community development organization were not being done. And the things that our partners and sponsors were supporting were not being properly addressed. So as this affected the entire organizational culture and organizational atmosphere, what I did was I pulled my staff in together, put us all in, had called a all hands on deck meeting, and I pulled out the business plan. And I said, this is the vision of our organization. This is what our partners and this is what our sponsors are supporting us for. And so in many instances, we can get distracted by the peripheral things. I got a friend, one of my favorite quotes by a mentor of mine is the best way to get someone off of their God-given vision is to give them another one. And so if we get distracted with the peripheral things, then often we're not addressing the vision that God gave us for the organization, for the product, and for really our impact on the world. So before we actually then now go into some of the parts of a business plan, is that good? Is everybody on board with that? I see Brent writing. I know there's a lot of writing. And so that's good. I'm glad we're all on the same page. So now let's talk about this business plan. So one of the first things I want to do is stress this. When I was in business school, when I was getting my MBA, one of the professors said, hopefully to us, or let me say it this way. One of my professors asked us all a question. What is the goal? What is your goal? What are you trying to do in starting a business? And so there were a whole lot of answers, of course, as students, young, bright students. We were answering the questions the way we thought was best. And what he ended up saying to us was, hopefully you are starting this business to make money. You start a business to make money. If you are not interested in making money, then it's a hobby. And that's what you should call it, a hobby. But hopefully you're in business to make money. And so what I like to start now with, after a few years of doing this, is with the necessary financial forms. The necessary financial forms. The balance sheet, the income statement, the cash flow statement. Those are your necessary financial forms: a balance sheet, an income statement, and the cash flow statement. Let me say this: if you're just starting your business, you may not have any numbers to put into those statements. Don't worry about that. You set up the structure and you fill it in as you go along. But you must first consider those financial statements. Balance sheet. Purpose of the balance sheet is to reveal the financial status of a business at any specific point in time. This statement shows what your company owns, their assets, and how much it owes their creditors, what your liabilities are, as well as the amount that you have invested in your business, equity. At the end of the day, many of us as dualpreneurs use our primary jobs to invest. So we are often investing in ourselves. Well, hey, I want to know how well I'm doing with my money. And so at the end of the day, that's one of the first things you do. Your balance sheet shows you what you have as assets, how much you owe as liabilities, and what the equity, what is your company, pretty much what is it worth. Your income statement, which is your other one, is one of the most important because it reports the company's financial performance over a specific period of time. Net income minus total expenses and losses. Net income minus your total expenses and losses. Start out with this because every single dime that you put in your business should be accounted for and should make a dime. Does that make sense? If you account for it, but every dime that you put into your business and that you invest into your business should make a dime. All right. And then your cash flow statement. Your cash flow statement is a financial statement that provides an overall look, a eagle's eye look regarding all the cash inflows that your company receives from its operations and the external investments. It includes how you are spending. Where is your money going? And if you don't know where your money is going, I can assure you that it's going to all go away. You're not going to know where it is if you're not keeping track of where your money is going. Start out that way. Don't wait until you have money flowing into your business before you try to build a structure for your financial statements. I'm a living witness that it's hard to catch the water after the faucet is turned on. If you don't already have your bucket there, it's hard to catch up with where the water is once you've already turned on the faucet. Brother Brent smiled there. So either that was an amen. So I love it. Everybody, you on? We got the thumbs up, huh? Good. So the next thing is, once we get these financial statements together and you're saying, okay. And let me say this, if you already have started the business, don't fret. I wasn't knocking you right there. You can always build these structures. But the more I do this consulting work, the more I realize the importance of these documents to your business plan, because you have a great vision. If you don't have a plan for how that money that you plan to make is going to be nurtured, how you're going to keep track of it, and how you're going to help your money make some money, then we've already put ourselves at a disadvantage. Your business plan, the other documents, is also your SWOT analysis, your strengths, your weaknesses, your opportunities, and your threats. These are absolutely important components to your business plan building, because if you don't know what your strengths are, how do you know how to build them? You don't know, how do you know how to build on your business? Where's the foundation? You have to analyze first, what are your strengths? And then what are your weaknesses? What do you not do well? Can I use that kind of English in DUALpreneur Portal? What do you not do well? If you don't know your weaknesses, listen, your competitor will. The person who's doing what you're doing, they will know what your weaknesses are. So if you know what your weaknesses are, you can get in front of your weaknesses and you can find the necessary help with those weaknesses. I believe that it was President Obama who said what he had learned is how to surround himself with the people that know how to do what he does not know how to do. And as a successful business owner, as a successful DUALpreneur, as a successful person even in life, you find you a partner who knows how to do what you don't know how to do. You got yourself a formula for success. Your opportunities, when you're talking about a SWOT, SWOT, or SWOT analysis, your opportunities. At the end of the day, if you have not analyzed inside of your business plan, the opportunities for success, where are those doors that are open for you? Where are those platforms? Where are those fertile grounds? Where are the niches? Where are the problems that you are helping to solve? One of the other most important things that I've heard, even as it relates to business plans and business strategy, is if you ever want to be successful, find a problem and meet it. Find a need and meet it. So in your business plan, you should absolutely outline what the needs are when you're looking at opportunities and how you are going to adequately meet those needs. And then finally, what are the threats that might keep you from meeting those needs? One thing I know that in business and even in corporate strategy, there is a saying that says, "Don't bring up a problem unless you can also come with a solution." And so everything won't just simply be easy. You're going to look at some threats. There are going to be some things that'll come against the success of your business, whether it's timing, whether it's location, whether it's product, supply chain, the COVID-19, even now, because businesses are closed. And I know that if you've been watching the news, they've been talking about supply chain management and what's going on with the supply chain. You have to be able to look forward, look above the horizon and see where those problems can come from and how you will be able to overcome those problems. So I'm only going to, is that good? Let me see your thumbs up. Is that good? Great, great, great. That's my business plan strategy, business plan understanding, sort of business plan peripheral layout about the business plan. I'm only going to mention one part of the business plan tonight. Time and space won't allow me to go through the entire business plan and all of its components. But here's something that I would like to share with you and just leave with you guys tonight. And that is the idea of the executive summary. First page of your business plan. You guys have heard of the elevator speech, right? Yep. I saw a head nod. I saw a smile. Saw a thumbs up. The elevator speech, of course, was made popular. I'm not exactly sure by whom, but it was made popular because of a business entrepreneur who saw someone who could invest, a celebrity, and who could invest in their company, and they were on the elevator. And so they jumped on the elevator with that celebrity or that potential investor, and that person pressed number 8. And they said they knew in their mind that they had 8 floors to convince this investor, this potential investor, that their business was a business that they would like to invest in. That's the same principle behind the executive summary. It is going to be the first page of your business plan. And what it is going to do is it is going to tell your potential investor, your potential partner, anyone who's reading about your business, why they ought to continue to read or continue to read this business plan. So what I'm sharing right now is an example, a template of an executive summary. It should be that part of your business plan that is the elevator speech. Can you all see it? Everybody got it? Good, good.
Yes.
Good. The first thing that your executive summary should contain is a description of your company. It shouldn't be long and drawn out. It should be straight to the point. It should say, this is the company. We are a candle making company. I keep saying candle making company because I'm looking at these candles on my desk here behind you. You can't see them, but we're a candle making company, or we are a business card company, or we are a marketing firm, or we make scissors. And that's what we do. The mission statement should be what's next. Our mission is to become the #1 scissor making company in the world. But maybe you don't want to be the #1 scissor making company in the world. Maybe you want to be the #1 scissor making company in Decatur or in Dallas. You have to be realistic about what your mission is. And if you can make that mission statement about 3 lines, succinct and straight to the point, that's what you should do. What are our products and services? Our products are stress relieving candles, or fragrance candles or coffee mugs that are personalized with pictures of your loved ones. This is what we provide. We provide a service where we can make your company, we can market your company with informationals, with flyers and things for public consumption. Whatever that is, that product and that service, it should be there. Your financial forecast, I plan, this company plans to create $500,000 of revenue by the end of the first fiscal year, ABC 1, 2, 3. At the end of the day, that's where your financial forms and your financial spreadsheets will come into play, and you will be able to forecast what your company is able to do. Here is why that is important. So while you are building this business, you got this great idea, and let's just say you've called Tara for some advice as to how I should proceed in this business, and you now have several investors, you've already identified a supplier, and you've already looked at the cost of goods, okay? You can then know that you already have, say, a business who's ready to buy your candles. You have a business or you have an organization who is ready to hire you to produce 500 mugs, or who you're going to become the #1 scissor supplier for them. You, with those, along with your financial forms, can forecast what you're going to make over the next year. Well, if you can forecast, let's say 50,000, 500,000, that gives those who would invest in your companies a very good feeling about whether or not you're going to be successful or not. And then finally, you would put into your executive summary what your financial requirements are going to be. I need $10,000 for products. I need another 10,000 for parts. I need 5,000 for labor. I need 2,000 for marketing, for advertising. At that point, your potential investor can decide to what degree they would like to invest. And it gives just a snapshot. That executive summary gives just a snapshot of your business, your mission, what you're selling, and how successful you plan to be, and what it's going to cost. When you talk about counting up the costs, it's a good way to land this plane. When you talk about counting up the costs, it should give you a good idea of what the financial requirements will be in order for you to be successful and to begin to get this business off the ground. Is that all right? Good. So I think that was a really good overview. Of course, the business plan, I have done business plans that have been as short as 30 pages, and I've done business plans that have been as long as 80, 90 pages long. And it just depends on how detailed you want it to be. And it just depends on how you want to grow your company, what the future outcast and the future look of your company and the future vision of your company will be. So hopefully this has been substantive. I hope that it has been helpful to you in just beginning the thought process of shaping your business, right? Thank you, Tara.
Yeah, thank you, Paul, for that information. That was absolutely great. And we will get the copy for those that are on the Zoom. We will definitely get a copy of that worksheet that he provided to you as a follow-up as well. Thank you, Brent. Also, one of the questions that I have, so it can be addressed, as you mentioned a little bit before, but how many pages should, or how long should the executive summary be? Should it be a one-sheeter? Should it be,
That's a good question. That's a great question. Ideally, your executive summary should only be one page, ideally. Now, just like a resume, it might be 2 pages, depending on how much information you have to share, considering your financial forecast, considering your company description, things of that nature. If your company does not have a long history, then that description won't be long at all. But ideally, it should just be about a page, maybe a page and a half, that gives that potential investor a snapshot of what they're getting into.
And that's a very good point, because even if you're not, doing the business plan for an investor, you're doing it to build a guideline for your business.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you're not ready to do 30 or 90 pages, having that executive summary, that could be your one-page business plan, and
Sure.
you can grow and add to it
Absolutely.
as you continue to grow. So if you just started the business yesterday and you have an idea for this business, the executive summary is a great outline, so you can start writing in what you need from that. And as your business continues to grow, or you decide to grow the business, that's where you can start adding more to those areas. So
Mm-hmm.
when you're talking about the description, there may be a section about the company. And so now you can do, I've been in business since 2019, and this is what we accomplished and all that stuff. But the whole point of the matter is you have to start somewhere. And starting somewhere is that executive summary, and hitting that anatomy of the executive summary, because everything that he touched on in the executive summary are like the chapters of the business plan, right? So
Yeah.
you're doing the summary first, especially if you're starting out, so that you can build upon it later. If you don't have financials, you don't have the balance sheet, the income statement, the cash
Right.
flow statement, you can still, put some general information, who is going to be, you're going to use QuickBooks for your financial system, which is going to
Mm-hmm.
produce that, or, FreshBooks, or whatever you want to use. And
Mm-hmm.
so when you start getting revenue and you start having those financials, now you have a section where you can put the financials. So
Absolutely.
it just helps you with creating that guideline, correct?
That is correct. The business plan there are some other parts to it. You are 100% correct. There are some other parts to it, like who are your staff, or who are your other partners, that give indications as to the success, the flow, the atmosphere of the business. But that executive summary is everything you just said it is. It can be that framework for beginning to build the chapters of your business plan. Absolutely.
Awesome. So Paul, if we have more questions, or we want to work with you to build our business plan, even though we could do it ourselves, we
Mm-hmm.
need an expert to get it, work us through it, because it can be intimidating. How can people connect with you or work with you?
Well, I will give you my I'll give you my email address. I believe I just put it in the comment section. It's pqfortson.fbs. That stands for Fortson Business Solutions @gmail.com. And if you would like, you can call me up, or you can say, hey, I heard you on Tara's amazing webcast, the anatomy of a business plan, and you can hit me up on my business phone. Is 678-637-8702. I believe I just put that in the chat section as well.
Beautiful. And that's pqfortson.fbs@gmail.com, 678-837-8702. My peoples that keep coming on here just keep giving y'all phone numbers. I don't understand. Whatever. Okay.
Well,
But
it's a business phone. No. You have to have.
oh, right. Okay.
And if it's a Google, even what is they call it, the Google Voice number or something.
Yeah, don't get it twisted. It's not a personal number. Okay. Okay. Now we'd like to open this up to anyone that has any specific questions that you have for Paul. We'd love to see your beautiful face, but unmute your mic and you can ask Dr. Paul the question.
Absolutely.
Go ahead, Shamika.
My only question was, hi, do you recommend like a mentor if you're new to business?
Oh, yes, absolutely. I would not recommend that anyone go into a business without first finding someone who has first already been in business, who've traveled this road before, but even more specifically, find somebody who has done the exact business that you're looking to go into. Be very specific about the kind of mentor you look for.
Yeah, I think that having a mentor, Shamika, is very important. But having a business coach is important as well. A mentor and a coach can be two different things. Sometimes they can be the same thing, but a mentor is someone who has done the same, business that you're doing, so they can walk you through that specific business. But then a business coach can help you with the generalization of building a business. Be it marketing.
Thank you.
Because the person that may be your mentor may know the business side of it, but they may not understand the marketing side, the financial side, the legal side, the structure side, your tax side, and all of that. So I think it's very important as a new entrepreneur that you connect yourself and invest enough in yourself to have those people that will help you be successful faster. You can do
faster, right?
But free, you trying to figure out how to do things for free is going to cost you more in the long run. Trust me.
That's the truth.
Me trying to figure out how to do stuff for free cost me $50,000 in a year.
And it is an investment, Shamika, in you. It's an investment in your business. I like to say it this way: the person with the roadmap and the person with the roadmap are going to generally get to the same place, but one of them's just going to get there faster and more efficiently.
Right.
Absolutely. Thank you.
My pleasure. Thank you for joining.
Thank you.
Was there anyone else who had a question? Oh, you must have answered all of their questions. Usually when people don't have any questions, they're either shy or you just answer all of their questions.
Don't be shy.
I know, right? So what I would love to give people an opportunity that have their cameras on. I do understand if you can't have your camera on, that's cool. I understand. But for those that do have your camera on so we can see who you are, would love for you to share your business, who you are, and what superpower do you possess as far as the business is concerned. So let's start with Brent.
Oh,
Go ahead.
And my name is Brent Tebow, and I have a company called Legacy Driven Apparel. And I came up with the concept about 2 years ago. It's I'll leave my address. I have a Shopify address and an Instagram, and it's really a clothing line that makes a statement. You have my competitors, Just Do It. You have Under Armour, which was founded in Maryland, and so I came up with we have a lot of athletes and stars that they're motivated by something, but sometimes they don't have that gear that makes a statement. So I've created that Legacy Driven Apparel line for that. So that's one of the companies I've started right now.
Beautiful. And what was the name of your company again, and how can we find you on Instagram?
Legacy Driven Apparel is on Instagram. I'll type it in the chat box.
Okay, beautiful.
Let me ask you a question, Brent. Is it specifically athletic apparel, or is it also fashion apparel?
It's fashion apparel as well.
Okay.
It fits in that category. I don't want to box myself into one area. Anyone could wear it, especially you, doctor.
I would love to support your business, especially if it's sharp.
Yes.
Right.
It looks good.
Thanks, Brent.
I did my due diligence, and what I did, I would listen to a lot of the the folks like Kevin, what's the brother's name? Again, from Under Armour. And I would basically listen to their stories and over on YouTube, because I didn't have I couldn't meet them as a mentor. So I would basically listen to Nike and listen to Shoe Dog and read the books and just constantly immerse myself in what it took for them to start. And the Under Armour CEO started out in his garage for $5. Used his grandmother's his last of his inheritance. So I mean, if he did it, and look where he is. So there's no excuse for a lot of us.
So Brent, as you are going down this road, continue to document your journey, because you see how their story has inspired you. Make sure that maybe you journal or something and document your journey so that you can preserve that legacy and also inspire someone else.
Yeah. Yes, doctor. What I've been doing is, like, in the morning, I keep a journal. Every morning I wake up and I write a journal of what I've been doing during this COVID. And I've been really just using this time wisely and just going on like Fiverr and to help assist my journey that from like you said, SWOT, the things I didn't know, there were folks that could help me.
Okay. I think you're breaking up.
I said thank you.
Oh, no.
Thank you. Sorry about that. Okay.
Oh, no problem. But we are definitely going to follow you on Instagram. But thank you so much for that. Miss Angela. Hey there.
How you doing?
Good.
I bought the light.
Oh.
Hi, so my name is Angela, and I am the founder of the Rosemary brand. It's a natural skincare company and hair care company. And even though I just established the business 2020, I guess I'm like a veteran in this game because I had a natural skincare company that was very successful a few years back. So I didn't think about it. I don't know why I didn't think about a business plan this time around, but I'm happy that I'm just like only a month or so into it. And I'm going to dig my old business plan up from Naturally Fly and just kind of go through it again. And then looking at some of the information that I've written down here, it's not going to be that hard to put one together, but this is my baby. And I'm just happy to grow it. But my question was, I do have a little question. I'm also putting together for my son who's graduating. He's going to NYU in August. I want to launch a business for him. So do I put some, but the business is just t-shirts. It's just a t-shirt lifestyle brand. Should I put that under my business or should I?
Paul, before you answer, I have a question for your question, okay? Does your son want to do this business or you want to start it for him?
For him, yes.
Okay, because you don't want to put anything in his name that he is not going to execute, right? Okay. Now, he may be the benefactor or the beneficiary of the business. It could be even named after him, but you don't want to start a business for someone who doesn't want to start a business. Okay. Yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It just doesn't make any sense.
We know that he needs that mailbox money. When he woke up the other day and seeing that I had orders while I'm sleeping, I wake up and he's
he has to be, oh, I want to do this.
That's right.
You know what I mean? Now you can do it, and then when he's ready, you can then pass the baton and then, make him a co-owner and then eventually give it to him. But I would never recommend that you do it. It's like paying doing a co-sign for your child for a mortgage, for a house they don't want, and expect them to pay the mortgage. It's not going to happen. So if you want to start the business, mm-hmm. and then make him the benefactor of it. But when he sees, oh, okay, this can make me money, I can do this, that's when you can bring him along and start mentoring him through the process. That's my opinion on that.
So, Angela, here's what I would ask you. What is your son good at? What is he good at?
He is good at, I don't want to say everything, but he's good at whatever.
So why honestly, So why don't you do this? Why don't you and he sit down and you ask him, what are you good at? Like, what are you good at? And what can you sustain? He may be good at a thing, but he may not be passionate about it, or he may be uninterested about it. Then at that point you find out, because I don't want you to set him up to fail, if that makes sense. Not only in the sense that you might start a business that he doesn't want, but you might start a business he wants, he ain't good at it. And if he's not good at it, then that's something you're setting him up to fail. I'd never start a restaurant, but I love to cook a little bit. But I don't think you're gonna buy my food, my lobster roll.
Well, you know what? This is why I chose T-shirts for him, because, you know, he has these colloquialisms that only he could brand. Those were, I call them Ahmadiisms because his name is Ahmad. And so I had him send me a list of 18. Like, send me some of your Ahmadiisms, because he's always like, can I live? And like, he really means that. That's him getting smart with me. But those things on the brand become a fan, and I don't want to, you know, kind of give my business away on that end. But my question